Good morning, students. Let us start with today's class on the topic some basic concepts of chemistry. Till now, we have discussed all the topics which are given in the chapter. So today we are going to discuss the NCERT exercise questions which are there in your textbook. Some questions we had already discussed, so let us start. So first question is like this: how much copper can be obtained from 100 gram of copper sulfate? So here you have to find out how much copper can be obtained from 100 gram of copper sulfate. So we are knowing that 1 mole of copper sulfate contains 1 mole of copper, because you can see over here the formula containing CuSO4. So 1 mole of copper sulfate containing 1 mole of copper. So when we are going to calculate the molar mass of copper sulfate, that will comes 63.5 plus 32 for sulfur plus 64 for 4 oxygen atom, 4 into 16. So that is giving 159.5 gram per mole. That is the molar mass of copper sulfate. After calculating molar mass of copper sulfate, we are knowing that copper which can be obtained from 159.5 gram of copper sulfate is 63.5 gram. Means in 159.5 gram of copper sulfate we are having how much amount of copper? 63.5 gram of copper. So let us apply the unitary method. Then we can simply calculate that in 100 grams of copper sulfate how much copper is present over there. So simply by applying unitary method, means in 100 gram of copper sulfate that will contain 63.5 divided by 159.5 multiplied with 100, that will gives us 39.81 gram of copper which are present in 100 gram of copper sulfate. Just apply the basic unitary method. So I hope you have understood. So let us further proceed towards question number 2, that is calculate the concentration of nitric acid in moles per liter in a sample which has a density 1.41 gram per milliliter and mass percent of nitric acid in it being 69%. So I hope you have understood the question. So let us begin solving it. So first of all, you have been given in the question mass percent. 69% is being given. So mass percent of 69% means that 100 gram of nitric acid solution contains how much gram of nitric acid by mass? 69 grams. So 69 gram of nitric acid by mass. So we are knowing the molar mass of nitric acid, how to calculate the molar mass. So after calculating the molar mass of nitric acid, we are getting 63 grams per mole. Okay, so now we have to calculate the number of moles in 69 grams of nitric acid, because here 69 gram of nitric acid by mass is present in 100 gram of nitric acid solution. So given how to calculate the number of moles? Given mass by molar mass. So given mass here is 69 grams and molar mass here is 63 gram per mole. So after dividing both of them, we are getting how much moles? 1.095 moles. So now we have been given in the question density. So for calculating the volume of 100 gram nitric acid solution, what we have to do? We have to divide mass divided by density, because we are knowing that density is equals to mass by volume. So here we are dividing mass, that is 100 gram, by density, that is 1.41 gram per milliliter. So after dividing both of them, we are getting 70.92 milliliter. So when we are going to convert it into liters, then we are getting how much liters? 0.07092 liters, means 70.92 divided by 1000, then we are getting this much of liters. So now we have got the number of moles and the volume. So now we can simply calculate the concentration of nitric acid in moles per liter. So that will gives us 1.095, that is the number of moles, divided by volume, that is 0.07092 liters. Then after dividing both of them, we are getting the concentration, that is 15.44 molar or moles per liter. So I hope you have understood this question. So let us proceed. Coming towards the third question, the question is determine the empirical formula of an oxide of iron which has 69.9% iron and 30.1% dioxygen by mass. Now here you have to find out the empirical formula of an oxide of iron and the percentage of element being given to you and what are the elements present. So first of all, for calculating the empirical formula, we have discussed this very table, how it will be helpful or it will be easy to find out the empirical formula by using simply table. So first column is for element and what are the elements present? Iron and oxygen. Now symbol we are knowing, iron is Fe and oxygen O. Now percent of element being given to us 69.9 for iron and 30.1 for oxygen. Now we are knowing the atomic mass of element. For iron it is we can consider it as 56, but let us take 55.85. This is the accurate mass. After that for oxygen we can take 16. Now the next column is for calculating the number of moles or relative number of moles, and that can be calculated by dividing percent of element given divided by atomic mass of the element. So after dividing both of them, we are having 69.9 divided by 55.85. So that will gives us 1.25 moles of iron. Now again similarly we can calculate the number of moles for oxygen. We are getting 1.88. And after getting the relative number of moles, we are knowing that for finding out simplest molar ratio, what we have to do? We have to divide the number of moles. Now we are having two number of moles, 1.25 and 1.88. So which one of them is smallest? 1.25. So we have to divide both number of moles by the smallest number of moles, that is 1.25 divided by 1.25, we are getting 1. Again for coming towards oxygen, 1.88 divided by 1.25, we are getting approximately 1.5. Now we have got the simplest molar ratio. After that we have to convert this molar ratio in terms of whole numbers, then we are able to write the empirical formula. So in terms of whole numbers, if we are going to multiply, here fraction is 1.5, so we have to first convert this into whole number. So 1.5 into 2, that will gives us 3, and 1 into 2, that will gives us 2. So simply we can write the empirical formula of the given compound is of oxide of iron is Fe2O3. This is the empirical formula of the oxide. I hope you have understood. So let us proceed towards our next question, that is you have been given prefixes and multiples are being given, means you have to match both of them, prefixes and multiples. So first of all, first one is micro. Micro is 10 to the power minus 6, and second one deca. Deca is 10 to the power 1. Again for coming towards third, mega. Mega is 10 to the power 6. Now coming towards 4, that is giga. Giga is 10 to the power 9. And coming towards the last one, that is femto. So that is 10 to the power minus 15. So try to memorize all the prefixes which are given in your textbook, and we had also discussed those. So I hope you have understood this one. It's a simple question. So let us proceed further. The next question is you have to express the following in scientific notation. The questions being given to you, 3 questions are being given. First one is 0.0048. You have to express this in terms of scientific notation. So you are knowing how to express any number in terms of scientific notation. So for writing in scientific notation, what we can write? 4.8 into 10 to the power minus 3. Why? Because we are shifting the decimal towards right, 3 decimal places towards right, means 0 for there, from their decimal we are shifting towards in between 4 and 8, then that means towards right. So if the decimal is being shifted right, then that there will be minus, there will be power in minus, so 10 to the power minus 3. So this is in terms of scientific notation. So coming towards second one, 234000. So this we can write simply. Here we are, now we have to put decimal. So again we are putting decimal from starting counting from the end, that is 0. We are putting decimal in between 2 and 3, that is 2.34. Then what will be the power of 10? That would be plus 5. Why? Because we are shifting the decimal towards left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 decimal places. That will give us plus 5. Again similarly 6.0012. For this, it is in standard form. It is in standard form. So simply we can write 6.0012 into 10 to the power 0. 10 to the power 0 means 1. So this just we have to express this in terms of notation, scientific notation. I hope you have understood. So let us proceed further. So next question is for finding out the significant figures. How many significant figures are present in the following numbers? So first one is 0.0025. So how many significant figures are present in this very number? Obviously 2. Because students, we are knowing that zeros to the left of the first non-zero digit in any number are not significant. Okay, we have discussed these rules as well. Okay, so now second one, 208. This simply having 3 significant figures because we are knowing all non-zero digits as well as the zeros between the non-zero digits are significant. Now coming towards third one, 126000. How many significant figures it is having? It is having only 3 significant figures. Because why? Because we are knowing the rules that if a number ends in 0 but these zeros are not to the right of a decimal point, these zeros may or may not be significant. So now moving further towards fourth one, that is 500.0. Now how many significant figures it is having? Obviously 4. Why? Because we are knowing that if a number ends in 0 but these zeros are to the right of the decimal point, then these zeros are significant. Similarly, last one having how many significant figures? Obviously 5. 20034. 5. I hope you have understood. So let us proceed. So coming towards next question, that is you have to fill in the blanks in the following conversion. You have to do the conversion over here. So first one is 1 kilometer is equals to how many millimeters, and that will equals to how many picometers. So we are knowing students that 1 kilometer is equals to 1000 meter. So 1 kilometer into 1000 meter, and 1 meter is equals to 100 centimeters. So here 1000 meter into 100 centimeter. Again we are knowing 1 centimeter is equals to 10 millimeters. So again we have to multiply. So ultimately we are getting 10 to the power 6 millimeter. Now again for converting to picometers, we are knowing that 10 to the power minus 12 meter is equals to 1 picometer. Here we are having 1000 meters. So simply we can divide 1000 meters by 10 to the power minus 12 meter. That will give us 10 to the power 15 picometers. Now for the second conversion, we have to convert 1 milliliters into how many liters? That will simply, we are knowing that it is 10 to the power minus 3 liters. Now for converting it to decimeter cube, that how we have to calculate? 1 milliliter is equals to, we are knowing that 1 centimeter cube. And now for converting centimeter cube to decimeter cube, what we can do? We are knowing that 1 decimeter is equals to 10 centimeter. So simply we are able to divide it 1000 and then we are getting 10 to the power minus 3 decimeter cube. I hope you have understood. So let us proceed further towards our next question. So question is like this, student. A sample of drinking water was found to be severely contaminated with chloroform having formula CHCl3, supposed to be carcinogenic in nature. The level of contamination was 15 ppm by mass. So we have to express this in percent by mass. And the second one is determine the molality of chloroform in the water sample. So let us try to do it. So first one, what's been given to you students? 15 ppm by mass. That means 15 gram of chloroform is present in 10 to the power 6 gram of solution, because that ppm we have discussed that parts per million. So 10 to the power 6. So that means 15 gram of chloroform is present in 10 to the power 6 gram of solution. So Since 10 to the power 6 gram of solution is containing 15 gram of chloroform, therefore 100 gram, how much 100 gram of solution will contain? Obviously 15 divided by 10 to the power 6 multiplied with 100. That will give us 15 multiplied with 10 to the power minus 4% or 1.5 multiplied with 10 to the power minus 3%. So I hope you have understood this, because we have just calculated in terms of percent by mass. Now the second question is to find out the molality. So for finding out molality, we have to calculate the molar mass of chloroform, that is 119.5 gram per mole. I hope you are knowing that how to calculate the molar mass of any compound. So after that, we are knowing the formula molality, that is number of moles of solute divided by mass of solvent in kgs. Now simply after molality we can also write in small m, that is equals to mass of solute multiplied with 1000 divided by molar mass of solute multiplied with mass of solvent in grams. Why? We are being given here molar mass in terms of grams. So after that, for finding out number of moles, we are knowing that it is given mass by molar mass. So simply after writing the mass of solvent in grams, we can divide by 1000. So the second one, we have got the formula. Now simply we can just write small m will be equals to Wb, that is the mass of solute, divided by Mb, that is the molar mass of solute, multiplied with 1000 divided by Wa, that is the mass of solvent in grams. Now simply just put the values. We are having Wb, we are having 15, Mb, we are having 119.5 multiplied with 1000 divided by Wa, we are having 10 to the power 6. Then we are getting the answer 0.1255 into 10 to the power minus 3 mole per kg. This is the molality, unit of molality, mole per kg. So simply we have now calculated the molality of the chloroform in the given water sample. So I hope you have understood. Try to do once again by your own this question. So let us proceed. So the last question I hope is calculate the molarity of a solution of ethanol in water in which the mole fraction of ethanol is 0.040 and you have to assume the density of water to be 1. So now here we have to calculate molarity in terms of mole fraction. So we are knowing what is mole fraction. So when we have to write the expression for finding out the mole fraction of ethanol, so what we can write? X C2H5OH, that is the symbolization for mole fraction for ethanol. That will be equals to number of moles of ethanol N C2H5OH divided by total number of moles, and here total number of moles of ethanol and water. So this whole being given to us, this value being given to us, that is 0.040. This will be, let us consider this as first equation. So we are knowing that, students, we have to calculate now the number of moles in 1 liter of water. Why? Because here 1000, now for calculating the number of moles in 1 liter of water, how we can calculate? 1000 divided by the molar mass of water. So molar mass of water, what is the molar mass of water? That is 18 gram per mole. So what it is coming? 55.5 moles. So now we have now got the number of moles in 1 liter of water, and first equation we have considered. So now we are knowing that, students, here we have to calculate the molarity of the solution. So the aim is to find out the number of moles of ethanol in 1 liter of solution, which is nearly equals to 1 liter of water, because we are knowing that the solution is dilute. So we have now calculated moles, number of moles, and mole fraction been given to us. So now substituting this number of moles of H2O, that is 55.55, in equation 1. So what we are getting? Simply just substitute this value in equation 1. We are getting number of moles NC2H5OH divided by NC2H5OH plus 55.55 will be equals to 0.040. Now after simply just calculate it, then that will gives us now N C2H5OH will be equals to, then 0.040 will be multiplied to each one of the denominator term. Then after that we can just simply take common out of number of moles for C2H5OH, that is for the coefficient is 1 minus 0.04 when it is when the first term of right hand side will coming towards the left hand side, that is then 1 minus 0.04 multiplied with, that is 1, we have taken common N C2H5OH, then that will gives us 55.55 multiplied with 0.040. Now after subtracting we are getting 0.96. N C2H5OH will be equals to the multiplication term simply. Now we have just calculated the number of moles of C2H5OH that we are getting after dividing both of them. 55.55 multiplied with 0.040 divided by 0.96. So we are getting 2.31 mole. So here we have got the number of moles of C2H5, but here we have calculated the number of moles in 1 liter of water. So simply we can say that this will be the molarity of ethanol. So molarity is 2.31 mole per liter or 2.31 m. Capital M is the, we can denote molarity as well in terms of capital M. So this is in the question itself, it has been asked to find out the molarity of the solution of ethanol. So we have just calculated the molarity of the solution of ethanol in water. I hope you have understood this one. So this is almost end of the chapter, students. So thank you everyone. So we will try to do some more questions from the exercises by your own. We will discuss in the classroom. Thank you.